All right, so welcome back to the channel where we continue this, what seems like a never-ending build on this Smokey and the Bandit tribute truck. So today what I wanted to do is finally get that sleeper bunk back on the truck. And we're going to attempt to do it single-handedly without a forklift. Now, if you watched an earlier episode, you would have seen me use the chain falls to raise the bunk off the truck, and then I drove it out. So I figured we could do the exact same thing in reverse and safely lift it up and then set it back on the truck. And hopefully we don't wreck my nice orange peel paint. And during the last episode, you saw me start to install the interior panels from the DayCab company, which I think look just absolutely mint. So we got to finish that up. We've got to do the door panels. And if you see, they're solid. So we still got to do a cutout for the vent. So we'll work on that. And then we'll put the headliner in there. And then once we finally get it back on the truck, I went and got a new sleeper boot. Now I went to Kenworth originally to get one of these, and you don't want to know what they wanted for one of these. So I found a website out there that actually sells these, and I think their primary, I'll put a link down below or mention it down below, but they were a lot cheaper. I think it's about $6 a foot. And I think they make this most of their designs are for like canopies on pickup trucks. But I think this one's gonna work just perfectly. So this first edge will grab that lip, and then this will just wrap around and grab the other lip on the truck. So I think this will work nice and hopefully keep the rain out. And yeah, so we'll go ahead and get started on that and see if we can't put this bunk back on the truck where it belongs. I'm westbound, just watch old Bandit run. Okay, so first up, let's get rolling on cutting this out. Now, if you've watched me work on the Peterbilt, I've done this many times on various interior panels. So the DayCab company makes them all one sheet, obviously. Of course, we're getting it all dusty. And then just has the kind of pre-cut spots where they know it needs to be cut out. So they leave that up to you to cut it out, because perhaps some of the trucks don't have those vents, or maybe it's in a different spot. I remember on the Peterbilt panel, there was multiple options for certain things. So you only cut out what you need, and you gotta take your time with this, because you don't want to pierce through on the material, because what we're going to do is we're going to cut the material and then fold it over like that, and then staple and glue it down. So it's okay to cut in the center. Again, you don't want to try and nick it though near the edge, because what will happen is when you fold it around, you'll see the yellow foam underneath. So with that, we're just going to take our time, and we're going to, especially near the edge, because as I was saying, that's where you don't want to pierce through. So I kind of like to cut at an angle. These little cardboard guys. And again, there's probably professional upholsterer people out there that have a different way of doing it, but this is how I like to do it. I remember on the Pete, because it's button tuck or button tuft, whatever you want to call it, there was little buttons all over, so I had to peel all those back. Obviously this is a different design with the stitching. Okay. That. Okay, now the stitching's a little trickier, because when we cut the foam out, we're going to be fighting the stitching. So we want to get the foam out, because when we fold it around, we kind of want it like this, where it's just the material flat against the cardboard, not material and foam that would puff it up. So we got to cut all the way around. And again, you want to be very careful not to cut too deep around this edge, because there's no going back once you screw that up. It's glued on there. Okay, good. pulling it back, and it's not, we didn't nick any of the material, or the outer skin.
You could take my precious silver studded saddle, oh Lord, but you cannot take my soul, Lord, cannot take my soul.
So I usually like to cut and fold it out, but down here, so I'll usually just do it from the center and just do an X and then just have the 4 triangles. But in this case, if I cut a triangle, it'd be too long. So we gotta just go short because we only have this little edge to glue to. So we wanna just go to that same height. Like that. And then maybe we go at an angle. Now when you're cutting towards the edge, don't go all the way. Because if you cut it all the way to the edge, you're going to see the foam when you fold it over. So you want to be very careful with that. You almost want to just stay 1/4 of an inch away. I don't know if you can see that in the camera, but as you pull it up and over, that way it really camouflages and hides the insulation underneath. Okay, so then with this one, we will probably do just down the middle. And then we'll go at an angle. And again, don't go all the way to the cardboard. Yeah, you get the idea. That's gonna look good. So next, I just like to get some spray adhesive and go all the way around. You're supposed to let it dry for a few minutes before it'll actually stick, but we're gonna actually staple it down as well. I find the glue and the staple works quite nice. Oh, it smells wonderful. Okay, so pull this over. I like to pull it tight so you can get it. Where's my staple gun? And the vinyl will stretch. So that's why you don't want to cut too close to the edge. Perfect. And there you go, a couple little loose strings to trim up there. And now we have our opening for the vent. Perfect. Okay, let's mount it on the truck, or on the sleeper. That looks pretty sharp. Okay, you want to make sure you get this all square before you start drilling holes. Okay, so I got 2 choices for screws. I could either use these that actually have a button cover. That actually might look pretty decent. Or I can use these little black ones. Where did I put them? Which aren't bad. I just put 4, 1 in each corner. We'll do it with the black screws first, and then we can always change it. Now these are nice self-tappers I discovered, so you don't have to pre-drill holes, which makes it quite easy. Again, just one double check to make sure it's all square. Looks pretty good. All right. Yeah, I think the black screws look okay. That should work. And we won't overdo the screws. We just want to make sure there's enough to hold it in there. That's nice. See how easy they mount? There's nothing to this. And you want to check to make sure the door closes well. I might put a couple more in there, actually, right around the latch. Okay, let's see if it closes. Nice. That'll work. Right on. Coming together. So I'm just comparing the old headliner to the new one. And on the old one, there was cutouts for the heater controls and a couple of lights. So what I'm thinking I can do is just get an approximate same spot here. And what I might do is just cut a hole, mark it out and cut a hole for this guy. And we can mount that in there. Same thing as the door panels. I can just cut the material, fold it back, and then staple it. And then we can put this in place, and then I should be able to kind of reach behind and put this in. Yeah, we're learning as we go here, folks. Where there's a will, there's a way, though.
Say you love me. Let me hold you in my arms. Don't tell me that I'm really falling to pieces. Keep me tender, mama, tender now. Keep me warm.
All right, that wasn't too bad for a little custom cutting, but I think it's going to work just fine and should work for the lights and the heater controls. So now the fun part is trying to get that headliner up in there. Can't wait. Yeah, that took a bit of doing to fit in there. It was a really tight fit, but it's in there now and it looks awesome. I just got to still square it up and then put in the lights, and then we'll start putting the screws in. But I'm sure glad I did this while it was sitting on the ground. I would have had a heck of a time trying to do that if it was on the truck. Yeah, I could probably use replacing these. I wonder where a guy could get them, or if I just got to find them at a wrecker somewhere. But that'll work for now, I guess.
On, off, on, off.
Oh, he knows how to work a light switch.
Oh, yeah, right.
Jack of diamonds, Jack of diamonds, still got my ace. Yeah. If you want,
It's a good thing the DayCab company sent 2 bags of these screws, because I've been going in all the piloted holes and I just ran out of the first bags. It's a good thing we got some more to play with here. But yeah, this is going really well. So this is the sleeper boot, not the rubber one that I showed earlier in the video. It's the actual finished one that'll cover that up. So it'll go like that. And that's why I think I'm gonna leave all the screws along here, because what I'll do is when I finally get the interior in the cab, I can put this up like that, and then I can put the screws in and they'll hold them both. Yeah, that'll be nice. Well, maybe what I'll do is I'll put a few black ones in here just to pin this down, just to make sure it's snug. Okay. Nope, wrong tool, Mark. There we go. Okay. Just about done in here. Okay, now I'm just gonna clean up all the footprints and dust that I got on all the panels, and we should just about be done.
Want me to do it, I can throw it right in your face. You can take my precious silver, studded saddle.
Well, how do you like them apples? That's a far cry from what it was before. It's like a brand new Kenworth. Thanks again, DayCab company. It looks awesome. Okay, let's figure out a way to get this mounted on that. Got the Bobcat here today, spreading that awesome gravel. Okay, let's see if we can't get a sleeper on this truck. You know, a smarter man might just ask the Bobcat operator to lift this up and put it on the truck, but
I'm not a smart man.
besides, this is more fun.
He's bound it down, loaded up and trucking. We're gonna do what they say can't be done. We got a long way to go, and ain't short time to get there. I'm eastbound as I watch old Bandit run. You can put hot on the pedal, son, never mind them brakes. Let it all hang out, cause we gotta run to make. The boys are thirsty in Atlanta, and there's beer and Texarkana. We'll bring it back no matter what it takes.
So that should be high enough to give me enough clearance to get over the fifth wheel. So let's spark up old Smokey here. Let her warm up, we can back her in. That's not like you, come on. There she goes.
We're gonna do what they say can't be done. We got a long way to go, and ain't short time to get there. I'm eastbound as I watch old Bandit run.
Oh, it's almost like I knew what I was doing. Oh, that actually worked really well. Oh, it's a tight fit in here. Okay, let's lower it down and bolt her on.
Old Smokey's got his ears on, he's hot on your trail. He ain't gonna rest till you're in jail. You gotta dodge him, you gotta duck him, you gotta keep that diesel trucking.
Okay, so again, this is the sleeper boot I got. See, there's just two little kind of pinching edges here. One goes on this side, like so, and then it just wraps around and then bites on this side and keeps the rainwater out. Now, what I did on the Peterbilt was, obviously you wouldn't put your seam where it would meet at the top, because then water might get through. So you want to start at the bottom, work your way around, and then when we get to the overlap here, what I might do is overlap it and then screw it down so it doesn't come up. Now I'm wondering, the Peterbilt actually, it was a different design, and you would actually screw through it to hold it in there. But I don't know if I want to pierce this outer layer. I think what we'll do is, rather than drilling holes in this, we'll use the same stuff, the 3M black super weather strip. This is hope I got enough left. This is what I used on the Pete, and it seemed to work really well. So maybe what I'll do is I'll lay a bead in on this side, and we'll put the sleeper ring on, and hopefully this glue keeps it in there. I'm sure it will. Okay, let's get at it.
That diesel trucking, just put that hammer down and give it hell. Oh, he's bound it down, load it up and trucking. We're gonna do what they say can't be done. We got a long way to go, and a short time to get there. I'm eastbound as I watch old Bandit run.
Oh, looks like I got more than I needed. How much overlap should I have? Maybe a few inches? Something like that. Yeah, that should work. We'll let that dry, and hopefully this keeps the rain out. Well, that sure worked out well. We didn't break nothing, we didn't get hurt. Everything turned out just the way I wanted it to. So now we'll just put a few bolts on here so it doesn't fall off, and then we'll go ahead and drive it out. Yeah, I think we're just about gonna wrap this episode up here, and we'll continue on next week by hooking up the lines, and I got a few other things to do, and just keep going on this project. It's a long way to go, but we'll get there.